Welcome back. Yes, we are here again. I'm late. I apologize. And I'm going to have to do some tweaking in the background, which I have been doing. I've had to lift the thing up. I need to get a new camera for this computer because it can't directly get the angle, so it gets everything else around me. And that's really not kosher. For those of you that don't know, I'm a psychic medium. We are going to do the super chats today. I have put the list up in the chat. I will add it to the streaming across the bottom. So bear with me for 5. How have we all been doing? Have we been good? Have we been caring for ourselves? I'll star it there and I'll add it in so you directly can see that. Won't be long. Yeah, there you go. We can add it there. It should be a bit smaller though, surely. So we've got Tracy, Cosmic Journey, and Research Coin Dawn. So Tracy. How are we doing? Tracy, Cosmic Journey, Research Clue, and Dawn. Now, if anything is incorrect, give me a heads up and I will directly change it up, especially if you're coming in late. We will be closing the super chat down very soon, i.e. the list will be closed. So if you do want to get on that, jump on. I've tried to change the scheduling as to a lot of the posts you'll find on YouTube are changing. It's so that I can give you some fresh content. I'm going to be itemizing it. You know, a lot of this year is about reworking and preparing for 2025. And I'm going to try and come to you guys for the next lunation to give you a heads up about what that energy is going to be. What I am going to try and do, and I am extremely limited on time at this point in time, especially preparing for next year and what's to come, is that I'm going to segment editions. Okay, so it's going to be monthly energy. It will be the 2 lunations and how it directly connects to your zodiac signs. So at the moment, that is what potentially is coming. We are, however, in Mercury shadow. It is going retrograde very soon. And, you know, I used to really do a lot of these energy updates, but again, because I am working 2 jobs at the minute, that has been challenging. One thing I did miss, which I do want to mention, I have added it in the blog to take that into context in relationship to what you guys have been going through over the last few months, is on the day of that full moon, Juno actually did go station. And so it is shadow direct at the moment. And there's sort of within the lunation of such, what you do tend to find is it's kind of like a Venus retrograde. I actually find Juno worse. I'm just going to be honest. So the embodiment of it can be subjects that the divine feminine or feminine archetypes are directly going through at the moment. And so it was retrograde in 2 zodiac signs, Sagittarius, which is like a marriage planet. It's Jupiter, it's expansion, it's adventurous and play. It's where is this going? It's what have we learned? It's the guru energy, you know, so that projection could have been there. It's like, what have you learned? You know, are you coming through traditionally? And, you know, that's some things. Okay, I'm simplifying it. You'd have to look at your birth chart as well, where those placements are. The other was Scorpio, and I was like, oh, no wonder I've been having such a hard time lately. And I did go into it with our members. So if you do want to join the members list, we do have a landing page. The direct link is below. Now, to get on the list for the second round offers, I am going to start offering webinars, etc. They already do have pre-release content. I wasn't able to give the full moon energy update to them, but I did do some bonuses in there that have not been released to the public. So, you know, we really went down the rabbit hole probably over the last few days, really. A combination of videos, a combination of chats. Yeah, and I'm always available to private inbox within the network. So if you do want to jump on that, you can come through to our Sage Inner Circle network. We have a landing page, and you directly can find that via the website and any links directly below. So, like I said, we did talk about the archetypes of those. We did talk about the subject matters. And what directly can happen is in the shadow, and it's direct, there can be sort of like that judgment time. So people might have experienced breakups. They might have had subjects to do with tax, debt, legacies, inheritances. It could have been a very codependent time. It was looking at who's depending on who. And a lot of old subject matters to do with intimate wounds could have actually kind of come up. But again, in order to know where that falls, you as a feminine would need to look at high sweet, it's 20 AUD. You directly would need to look at your birth chart. You directly can go to astroseek.com and type in AstroSeek birth chart, and basically pull your chart up, type in all your details, and then you can check planet positions. And that's going to give you an idea of what house that fits in and what those subjects can be coming up for you. I'll try and put a blog post up separately to give you the timelines. Now, yes, it can be like a Venus retrograde, so it could have been that those people from the past were coming back, either subconsciously or physically. We also are, like I said, in the shadow of Mercury retrograde. And by the end of this month, which I have added to the next 3 blogs where I do content drops, if there's a video or something I need to add in there, I have itemized inside the blog post that lands on YouTube, individual subject matters. So you can actually scroll through, you can see any new dates, etc., any content that I need to share to you that could have been released and you might have missed it. I have added it in there. But keep an eye on it, because in each one there is a bit of an update as to how that week is progressing and transitioning. Okay, so take a look at that. What else have you guys been dealing with? How have you been feeling? We had some huge revelations in the membership. We were actually noticing that for some of us, it could be that we are acutely aware at the moment, and we directly are going through maybe sort of like we were in alignment near the Capricorn moon, but it could have been that other individuals maybe were struggling and projecting. And I do feel as though there is a split, but it could be that, you know, us being in the 3D, maybe we're needing to pop back out of it a bit. And what could that look like? It could be meditating. It could be honoring the things that you need. One of the biggest challenges I do believe between Mercury retrograde, the new moon in Leo, which we will do a video for that, hopefully, if Mercury retrograde permits, is honoring yourself. And I don't know why I keep hearing the courage to be disliked. So it can be that you directly are wanting to, what do you call it? It's like what you logically feel you need to do versus what your soul needs to do. And it won't be ego driven, okay? As to clarity, I do feel we may have clarity, but the problem is going to be we may need to go backwards to go forwards, and that's due to the fact that Mercury is going to be retrograde. So it could be some clarity from the past. It might be some information from the past, or having to revisit some old situations. Regardless, do look at the Leo Aquarius axis and the Aries Libra axis for mid-month. Now, I'm going to start getting the cards ready. Bear with me. And I'll give you 10 more minutes, and then we are going to be closing the super chat. Do you have A on the super chat? No. Probably because you sent it to the wrong location. When did you put it up? Antonella, did you put your super chat up, Dale? I'll go into the app and I shall see. That'll be right. I'll bring the phone that doesn't have the... I'll look online. I have this habit of never uncapping caps, and then I start trying to log in and it kind of stuffs me up. You know how it goes. When did you send it? Was it a previous one? Oh, you missed the previous slide. Okay. I'll add it. Okay, now for those of you that don't know, it is 20 AUD. So if you do want to get on the list, jump on. Otherwise, I can do the $10 one, but it'll only be 2 cards. Anyway, we'll shuffle cards and we will take a look at what is coming up. All that information to do with super chats is directly connected in the blogs. What I might start doing is place it directly under each video so the information is there. That's okay, Antonella. Okay, let's take a look. Let's tune in. So Tracy, I do know that Tracy was going to be busy, so I'm hoping that she's well, and we will take a look at what is coming through for Tracy. Okay. So are we all prepped? Are we all excited for moving through this second half of the month? I don't know if it's going to be any easier. I'll just be honest with you. You know, these are some revelations, and I do predict psychically we can have things to do with celebrities, gurus, kings, queens. I'm hoping it doesn't get tense in the collective. That could be protests and riots. Time is flying. It is, but it feels almost like we are running out of time. I don't know why I get that. Probably because where it does come to multitasking, it could be that we do need to make some very solid decisions, and that can be quite difficult, especially in the context maybe we're being pulled in 2 directions. And, you know, you could have the 3D realities of the reasons why that's happening for you, but you also might have the spiritual attribute of things. And I've really had a lot of conversations with people of late, and they have directly said that, you know, they're doing that as well. So it is something that's quite common at the moment. So yeah, celebrities. I mean, I just think if somebody's done something shady, it might come out in the media. I don't know why I think of the P. Diddy situation and situations not being over. And the list, especially relating to Leo. Okay, so. Okay, Tracy, you can have something at the moment going on. Now, this could be a subconscious situation. You may find the transits are a little bit kinder to you because of the fact that we do have 2 particular planets that are retrograde at the moment. But use your time wisely. It could be restructuring situations in your time, looking at how you're using your time, looking at your belief systems and how you feel about yourself versus how you are feeling to do with pocket groups, because we do have the crowning energy being teamwork. So it could be a circumstance happening where it's a belief system. So it could be that you're feeling this resistance and, you know, people maybe are projecting at you or reacting in a certain way, and you could take it personal, okay? And it's quite normal for when circumstances are happening to take the initial response, but then after we're probably going to mull through it and go, hey, why is this happening? Now, I do feel it could be something that is good that's happening, but again, I feel you're trying to objectively look at something. And there is a notion, I am seeing one subject matter, and it is work. I'm also feeling in general, you're just wanting people to work with you. You're getting very frustrated. You're like, it's almost like you'd like to distance yourself from certain situations because, it's almost like, and I heard something that Mike Tyson actually said, and it rang true for me, and I've been meditating on it for quite a while now. I might actually put it up in the quote and maybe put the link to the video. It's a short. And it was a quote he had to an individual. And it's like we all know, there's light and dark in any situation. And, sometimes, say if a person triggers you, it's almost like by giving our power to that situation, they've taken something from us, but then it's almost like they're at owner due to that. So I'm not even going to mince words, but I'll let you listen to it. I'll try and remember to put it up. I'll schedule it for tomorrow because we've had too many, so you won't get the notification, but I'll put it up. Now, the context is something is changing within you, and you're sort of looking at that and you're like, look, you're playing for keeps, you're moving to higher waters, but you are trying to put your energy into the things you do. Hope you're trying to move away from people that you feel aren't in your vibe tribe. And, that's your goal at the moment. I do feel there has been a lot, it might have been that you were making decisions based on the fact that things were taking too long. And so, you might have been put in between a rock and a hard place and had to make a personal decision. You're trying to put that, to the past at the moment and move forward. And, there's something in your heart chakra where you feel something isn't feeling correct. So it could be that something, something's not sitting correct for you. It could be that people do, like I said, I keep getting this information coming through. It's like people are trying to manipulate you. Now, this could be in a circumstance where you feel it could be a romantic situation. It could be a twin flame path. It might be a work-related dynamic. But in the heart chakra, it feels like you could be pulled in two directions. I do think where it does come to subjects of Venus, and again, we did just have Juno moves shadow direct, and for your zodiac sign, it inadvertently will affect you, being that you have that, certain placements that are quite Mars in nature. It feels as though you have to make a decision to do with your values, to do with your belief systems, to do with where you want to take your life, whether to stay or go, whether to choose it or not. It also can be that you're feeling that person needs to do that, that's out of your hands. You're just doing you're focusing on where you are and where you're going. Where it comes to work, it could be that you do need to make a decision. The weird thing is, the first thing I'm hearing is it has absolutely nothing to do with money. So if it's the context of, oh gosh, I need money, your guides are kind of chiming in and saying, please don't look at it that way because you can have that replaced. So, say for instance, it's something you really hate it, and we could tag something as being, oh my gosh, I have to because of the finances. The finances can be replaced in another job. So it's like they're reference pointing it as that there would be solutions. It needs to be in this authentic vibration of something that's correct for you. And that's funny, at a foundation level, you're still being cautious, although you are moving forward. It's like you really don't know what to connect to and what to commit to. There has been some things in your life, sometimes you think, I'll just stay single. I might liaison with someone, I might, go out for dinner, etc. But it's weird, I'm not feeling that at all. So it could be psychologically at a foundation level, you weren't really ready for a connection. Although something in your 3D is changing. Now, the commitment factor could be another area. Like I said, it could be, I don't know what to commit to. Maybe I'm choosing the situation at the moment because it's quite light and there's no expectations. That could be employment or other. But universe is trying to take you to this higher level, and you could have a lot of opportunities where it does come to home-based business. So if you are feeling as though you're being pulled into this new reality, they're saying these opportunities are going to be there for you. Not necessarily in the first 2-3 weeks have we had it easy going, but I do feel as we do transition through between the end of this month, this week particularly, we're going to have some revelations moving into the end of August. I feel that's where you're going to have more clarity and it's going to feel like a different vibration. There can be a mini break for you coming up, but they are saying that you do psychologically need to be prepared, because they're kind of referencing the fact that there could be some things that really surprise you this week. This already could have happened and you're mulling over that circumstance and having to address it, okay? So if there was an area of your life that took you really by surprise, like might have been around the Capricorn moon or in general, they are saying it's almost like you are going to have this thought process, and I would say it is linking to, and I don't necessarily think it's by the end of the week. I think it's in general, it's very high on your mind, but it's the outcome card. So it's like whatever you're processing, it could be you versus other people. Look, you're trying, other people trying, whatever these revelations and healing is, and, logic that you come to, I do feel it is via new moon, as well as the Mercury retrograde. You're going to start working on that. They're also warning that there could be some unexpected changes that you may not see, but they do feel that you have the tools for them. I hope that helps. Now, that unexpected could be a surprise visitor. Wouldn't that be great? I'm being sarcastic there, and I'm sure you know that, Tracy. Where do I get the examples? Okay, I need to be very careful how I delete this. I'll go backwards there. We had these really iffy situations happening where it came to, what do you call it? Editing the actual people down below, and I would literally cut people off, and it was not me. It was because I was cutting and pasting a little icon, and it would just delete it, the whole lot. Okay, already Cosmic Journey, we have one card that's come out. Oh, God. Okay. This is Karmic Retribution. Why am I hearing that for? It's not necessarily do I get that as a bad card, but the term I heard was Karmic Retribution. I'll have to add Michelle on. Okay, so you have the 7 of coins, but it's like you could be really trying to get your ducks in a row. This can be financially, this can be emotionally, this can be the way you see yourself. But I do feel that there is going to be karmic, I'm just hearing the term karmic retribution. It's like somebody's going to get their karma. Heck, what's that about? Somebody's going to get their karma. I'm going to have a sip of my drink. I don't know. Yeah. I do feel you're planting some seeds and you're going to harvest, but you could be thinking you should be a lot further ahead than what you are. You could be all of a sudden really strict that you want to actually co-create a brand new beginning, and it needs to look different to what it was. It feels very serious. It feels almost like D-Day. Does that make sense? So you've got this going on. This could also be in the context of you wanting to really set yourself up for the future in love, in connections, and where you're going. And it does feel very serious. It does feel like you're looking at it and going, okay, A, I have to have my back. B, there could be people that are dependent on me, which you can empathize looking at the shadow energy of TF Path. But you also could feel as though you would really like to get something, okay? Because there has been maybe some manipulation in the past. People are really, you giving and not really receiving. But I do feel you're wanting to get things back onto an equal balance. And I'm also feeling that if income and wealth had been tight, it's like you're trying to look at that for it to actually come into balance. You could be triggered by some of the things that you do see in the collective, and it can be affecting the way you're perceiving it. It's 20 AUD per super chat swipe. Okay, so we've got in the heart of it, This could be where, you're wanting some justice, you're wanting some balance, you're wanting some fairness, but could be also where you're physically feeling as though, in order for maybe your path in your life to go a certain way, and we've mentioned this before, you could have the sense that something is going down, maybe in the karmic path, maybe something is shifting in that dynamic, and it could be a reference that they've actually spoken to you about something that they want to do and the conflict to do with it. So you do feel it is quite stagnant at the moment, even though you empathize and understand. But I do particularly feel there is something here changing in their life, and it is actually becoming more difficult. You do feel at times they are too kind, like they're genuinely, they're coming across as a friend. It's not that they look at you as a friend, they do look at you as something more than that. But they do feel sometimes that they kind of accept status quo of where things are, but it really doesn't feel like that at the minute. One of the big things that they are actually referencing is wealth. However, there is a time date in which something's transitioning, and it's either a date of a birthday that can be quite significant, like a major decision's going to be made. This can be your birthday, their birthday, an anniversary as such, but that's the reference point to the date of the celebration and bounty. You could be looking at your life like, look, I don't even have my life totally together, so I don't know what you're talking about. They actually feel that you hold your life up quite well. They do feel that you're extremely independent. So it is okay to actually be vulnerable with this person and say, look, I'm human. I don't always have it together, but I'm willing to try them, and, sometimes we can look at our circumstances as quite bleak. But when we do look at, maybe, especially when people are in karmic relationships, I'll just be honest, and maybe some of you can directly relate. Have you ever been in a karmic relationship, yet you're the one who's actually hosting it? And what do I mean by that? You're financially, keeping it afloat. And yet you worry about, should you exit stage of that, what would happen? They're really going to have to start becoming independent as per se. Now, yes, it could be with the judgment card here, rules, regulations. You've got to look at those things. But ultimately speaking, if you've survived this far, what would the difference in being able to spend your time in the manner you feel fit, while maybe still having to do that, but you're free. Do you get what I'm saying? So it's almost like a different viewpoint that's coming through here. And it is that process of time. Because I do feel it is that this person is expressing the difficulties, but the intention and the work is there. And you directly are doing something similar. So it is like you're trying to work through getting out of dodge. That can be either from a spiritual, emotional, financial level. There does have this sense of distance, but it's not. It's more the quietness. I'm hearing the calm before the storm. But you're playing for keeps. You're playing for the long haul. So whatever you do, you're trying to keep your ship afloat. And, this person is too, but I feel this person is actually sort of coming to that T section in the road, but they feel they do have to hurry up and make one. Okay, we have research clue. We'll update that. I keep forgetting how to do it. Where are we? I write it up here. Q&A. So people know when they jump on and they're not thinking I'm just being mean and making it up. Okay, so we have we'll pull the cards. We'll pull cards. Okay, so we've got research clue. And once we get to the end, we will be calling it quits, okay? So we've probably got another 15 minutes and then I'll be closing the super chat down. Now, we do want to get on the next one. We do have it hosted on the live section, or if you go to the main page on YouTube, you can scroll down there, scheduled. You can click on that bell and you can add yourself to it. And we do host them at the moment only once a month. We do have them in the members hub. If you do want to get on the members list, you can jump onto that via the link below. Okay. What do we have for you, Research Clue? Heck, what are you going through? I swear I have to talk to you because I know we both have Scorpio in our chart. We are quite similar, you and I. And, you know, that placement of where Juno was for feminine archetypes, it's both emotional, purgatory, transformative. So your direct direction can be changing at the minute in very, very, in a myriad of ways. I'll just put it that way. Do I think you actually have this in the bag? 100% I do. You probably don't feel it. You're probably like, no. You literally have the Seven of Cups as your crowning energy. You know what to pick. You know what to do. Your intuition will guide you. Your ego might interrupt you. Your ego might chime in and say to you, look, this is not, you know, this isn't going to work. What do I do from here? But what I'm really getting is you know what to do. Okay, you have the intuition. You have the ability to be able to choose correctly. You've learned, you know, all these kind of, and I did reference this in a post the other day, and it was like, you know, where do systems come from? They come from failure. So most of the systems we have in quality assurance is because something didn't work. So it's a process of elimination. It's like, okay, we've created this quality system. It could be for your safety. It could be for your, you know, your daily routine, for instance. It could be packaging. And that was where I got the quote. It was like, look, most systems come from failure. So you have moved through a lot of that. And you know what tower moments are like, okay? But you really are in a better position than you feel. Now, as to your past position. Yeah, okay. Look, like I said, you might have gone through a purgatory state. Now, if you don't completely know where you're going, it might be you do have an idea, right? You might have been in those self-sabotaging kind of ways, right, a few weeks ago, or you're coming out of it as per se. Could have been critical on yourself. We can dive in and out of that. There is going to be a benefit to what you move through. It could have been shadow work, it could have been purgatory, it could have been, you know, there could have been a lot of deep reflection, a lot of bad self-talk, but they're asking you to get your energy anchored in. You could have a lot happening with family at the minute. You know, it's funny because when I do jump on a few videos, be it it's astrologers or the energy of tarot readers, what I am hearing, especially for particular zodiac signs, oh, you're really social. And I don't think necessarily it has to be that we're social or we're connecting in. It can be intellectual. Okay, so it can be very, from a psychic perspective, when we hear busy, interconnecting with people and socializing, it can be the opposite polarity, which is thinking about those things, processing those things, especially because we have Uranus and Gemini. So it can be very intellectual at the moment, and you can feel very overstimulated. And I think those of us that do have that as a sensitivity, which I wouldn't really call it a sensitivity, I'd call it a sixth sense. If you have that sixth sense, you need to understand it might need clearing and protecting a bit because it's going to be overstimulated as I drink coffee. Smart move, viewers. Okay, you're moving up and up. You're trying to have the courage. You're not going to need the courage. Your guides are behind you. Where it does come to your love life, where it does come to your career, there are some blessings coming your way. I'm telling you, there are some blessings coming your way. It is going to be a new beginning. Don't stress too much about where they are. Honestly, that's what my guides are saying. Do not stress too much as to, where they are. Are they mature enough? Because we have the Page of Cups here. There is going to be a start. There also could be somebody that is making insinuendos, and you could be feeling like, I don't really understand or know, am I misseeing this? Is it something that's going to come up again? I do think it potentially could come up again. I do feel that somebody is, you could really just want to laze about and just rest, and that's okay too. Especially yesterday, I'd love to go and see where the showman was at, because all of a sudden, a few people that I talked to, they were like, "Gee, I was really tired," and it came out of nowhere. For some of us, it might have been we moved through the day and we processed it, but for others, it was just like, "Wow, okay, this is really hitting us." I think you need to honor your body, and I also feel through. If you're daydreaming, check into what you're daydreaming on, okay? This, because it can be causing manifestations. So be super careful about what you directly are, dreaming and looking into, because I think this patience and longing, like I said, I still feel your third eye is extremely strong, and you can be attracting things in. I don't necessarily feel. Again, they're saying we need to get into August. Okay. But for some reason, I feel the decisions are made this month. Changes are happening this month. I do think that people from the past are coming back up. And I think there could be a bit of a juggling act, right? I do feel there could be a juggling act. Be cautious of gossip. I'm hearing the cat's out of the bag. What that means, you can tell me when this pans out. The cat's out of the bag. Could it be in reference to a person who's going to declare something? Or is there something that was supposed to be hidden that's coming out? I think it's a bit of both. Okay, who do we have next? We have Dawn. Are you excited, Dawn? You're like, oh, God, what's she going to say? How are you going with Uranus and Gemini? Are you loving it? We haven't even got to the high vibe, of it yet. You wait till, Saturn and Neptune go direct. Heck, I'll be like, look, my daughter always calls me ADHD, and I said to her, I'm pretty structured though, I can multitask quite a bit, but I get them all done, whereas I'm okay. Clients have been going through it. I was actually okay. People around me were treating, that pissed me off. But then I moved back into the heart chakra of love and empathy, which, sometimes I'll think, and this was what Mike Tyson mentioned, to do with, what was the quote? I've got to find it. It was so eloquent in the way it was said. I'll try and close some of these windows. I've been editing, updating. Okay, Mike Tyson quotes. I think there was an interview going on, and it was to do with somebody being their owner. 35 Mike Tyson quotes. Do I know if it was a quote? It wasn't really a quote. I'll have to share it after. It was in a video. And to do with forgiveness. Yeah. Anyway, I'll find it and I'll share it. We'll go back to the super chats. Clients have been going through it. Leos, I know, have been going through it. Well, it makes sense. I mean, look, I literally wanted to cry when I looked at my chart. And I talk to my members because I've been saying for a long time on YouTube, and I want to laugh because it's messed up how lit up my astrology has been since 2016. And it's like I just can't cop a break. And then I'll get to my Saturn return and I'll be like, I hate my life. It's all going. I'm throwing it out the door. So I've had first and seventh house twice. You can have it about 3 times, depending on how you're looking at your chart. Jupiter returns. Saturn at the moment has been my Saturn has been so messed up with basically Pluto being in Aquarius. It's kind of positive because I have an ascendant there as well. But then I have Saturn and Leo. So we've had Mars there. We're going to have Mercury there. We're going to have a new moon. I'm just breathing. I'm just like, just get me through this friggin' year. We've got a new moon there, so added responsibility. I've got so much responsibility, it's ridiculous. I'm about to divorce some responsibilities because and sometimes you can listen to maybe a reading or something and they're like, you need to take more responsibility. I got too much. It isn't about not taking responsibility. It's about fine-tuning down to what is mine and what isn't. Like, what's my shit? What's mine? What's others? Go take your stuff and deal with it. Because no one knows my actual birth time. Like I said to you, you can get one where the individual can actually fine-tune. I haven't bought the astrology software yet. I'll have to get onto that soon. The other way you can do it is by writing down some key events on certain years, and then you can kind of tweak the time where you could probably do it yourself, okay? Because you'll notice some of the themes in the houses that'll come up in the sections. Yeah. And that's how they can get it down to sort of a time. Otherwise, get the original birth chart. You can ask for that. See, I had to get mine redone, and it didn't bring the time in that. Anyway, let's see what's coming up for you. Number one, there's going to be so many changes. Ask Taurus, your sign prefers the energy of change, okay? Technically, the air signs are supposed to theoretically do better. I wonder how that goes. Did Capricorn feel that they did better through Pluto, transits? How did Taurus? Taurus generally doesn't like to sit in the house of Uranus, okay? So for you, this is going to bring change, okay? Changes maybe that have been overdue. You could be very spontaneous. I mean, this could be good and bad, okay? This could be dangerous. This could be like, pay attention to patterns. I would probably say in the first few months, I'd gauge how that planet's kind of interacting with you. It could be that you take on too much. It might be that you do have sudden changes. I mean, like I said, at that full moon, I seriously had some surprises and shocks. And I know where that hits for me in my chart, and I was like, wow, okay. Like I was anticipating, but again, with Uranus, you can't quite anticipate because it comes out of left field very suddenly. So what do we have for your cards? Yeah, look, 1 minute we're going to think that we're seeing things logically. The next we're going to be to IB going, am I seeing this incorrectly? Always take on too much. Yeah, well, hey, look, pre-warned. Mercury shadow going retrograde. I'll get the date. I read it in the post. It will go retrograde. The other thing we have to know. Okay, so what date is it? Saturn's already retrograde. Where is it? Chiron goes retrograde also this month. Mercury will not go direct until August. It's going to be in the house of Leo. So we're literally on the 22nd, the sun moves into Leo. On the 24th, we have the new moon in Leo at 2 degrees. Look at the Sabian symbol or wait for the video. Venus at the moment is in your zodiac sign, so you are going to be worried about your body. And, when we had Uranus and Taurus, I tell you, I was eating so many cookies. I'm like, can I just get this out of that position? I just want that to move. You'll also feel your nervous system you're going to have to be careful with stimulants. You're going to have to be careful with being accident prone, is because you already are that Mercury energy, and that frequency moving forward, it's like you're going to have a lot of downloads. So, my tip would be maybe if you have this idea and it comes in and it goes out, what you could do is grab an audio recorder on your telephone and you can record it, or you can type it in and email it to yourself, or put a sticky note, and it's going to help you be organized. Now, Mercury will retrograde, so your schedule, and already a lot of us are probably seeing a lot of glitches with technology. I have for several months, okay, moving into Uranus, ingressing into Gemini already. I was already seeing it. So where is Mercury? Let me give you the date. as of the 18th. But like I said, we're already in shadow. So as to your routine and the things you promise, you'd probably have to look at your, where you have Leo, which we talked about that the other day. Now, if you get confused, what I would suggest is have a rough guide as to what you want to achieve, and then allow whatever 3D circumstances pan out to play out, but have a very extended timeline, because the work that we're doing at the moment is linking from here all the way into 2026. Yeah. And you're like, huh? So it's like we are starting new things, but we're building them for 2026, if that makes sense. Okay, so you could be like, am I doing things the right way? Am I doing it correct? You could second guess yourself. You also could feel very strong about things. You may think you're ready, but you're probably not. That's what they're saying. You also could be looking at some contracts at the moment. Now, as to in your heart chakra space, I would love to know what Spirit has to say about love, because I'm not seeing any. Yeah, because spiritually speaking, and this is what I've got psychically, Dawn, and it came up before you even needed to ask, is, and this is what you have to understand about Spirit. Spirit is always going to tell you what you need to hear. And so we could be very fixated on a particular area, but if they feel there's other things you need to know, they're going to tell you. But they are talking about love here. There has been a lot of hurt, betrayal, and shadow work happening in the heart chakra. Your guides are also saying, to a degree, although you subconsciously, and I don't know if it's subconsciously, and this can be an interesting thing. How would I explain? Okay, I want you to understand on the level of hurt and energy, it's not one person. Does that make sense? So from the romantic sector of your life, if you had 3 words to describe it, what would they be right now? Just sum them up in 3 words. It's a little exercise to know where your vibrations are. Just 3 words to sum that up. What it was, what it is, what your thought is about it on love. I mean, because psychically I do see a lot of opportunities. I don't have any. Yes, you do. It's not a test. It's to help you move through it so that you can achieve what you're wanting to achieve. So are they positive words? So is it hurt, let down, what 3 words? Or is it, are they positive words or are they negative words? What would you say? Negative or positive words? When your heart tunes into it, what is the vibration when you're tuning into love in general? Is it positive or is it negative? Is it protective or is it open, and willing to jump off a cliff like the Fool card in Tarot? Disappointed, okay. So this makes sense because we had Juno retrograde. It was in Sagittarius, which is your romantic sector. So I'm actually not at all surprised. And then it moved into Scorpio. So there was a lot of very deep, dark energy, that feminine relating to love, correct. I can guarantee you would have been having a great week at work, and then some negative vibration would have come in to do with an old wound you had in previous careers, not being seen, not being accepted, not having the notation you deserved or the opportunities given to you. And then there could have been some positive things. But that shadow work that we're moving through, at the minute where it sits, it's not saying you're not going to attract that, but that vibration and what the number 9 energy is in 2025 is all to do with healing that, because we're sort of chucking the junk out for the new life we're moving into. And so we are going to be having opportunities coming to us, but then in the retrogrades, we're also going to have subconscious clearing to do. So it's sort of like if your body is able to kind of handle that, because you can't, that came up in the heart energy is hurt, betrayal. distrust. And so when our heart chakra feels that, it's not saying you're not going to get it, but it's saying if somebody came to you at this point in time, unless you've actually dealt with that, you probably won't let them in, because the first message I got is, I've been so, and this is what I'm hearing, and you can tell me if I'm wrong, okay? Because this is what you guys are chiming in and saying. They're like, this is how they're stating you are reacting to the circumstances. I have always had to look after myself financially. I've got all these opportunities coming to me. I want love, but I don't trust that that person that does come into my life is even going to do anything. So it's because of that paradigm energetically of, instead of us actually shifting through this perspective of going, that actually does exist. You can have someone attracted into your life. But because we've only ever had one resume, as per se, we actually don't believe it physically exists. So we don't attract it in. So it's saying, you know, and sometimes this is where we need to actually see how, you know, I can say we do have a side on it, because it's when we spot it, we actually have to not go back into those same patterns we had with those previous people. Do you get what I'm saying? Well, I have wanted twin for so long. That all makes sense. Yeah. So it's the rejection, it's facing those shadows, and then it's coming to, no, I don't reject me. I love me. I know I'm worth it. I know where I'm going. I know what I'm going to get. I know what, you know, if I decide to go on a date, I will. I'm not signing my life away like I'm running down the aisle, but I'll go see how it goes. You know, it's being open to opportunities without the expectation, without the projection. And then if we go back into that old story, we're going to learn how to bounce back out of it and go, no, there is somebody good out there. And be it it's twin, or be it it's whatever, I am attracting that vibration into my life. I'm going to make that, because they are saying at the moment your belief system is you do. Your soul actually does have a goal. And although you feel that the one particular goal that is really missing, your soul's not actually saying that. Your soul's saying what's been missing has been personal change in your life. And it's sort of like the Fool card and Tarot on an adventure. And so it's like you either can do it two ways. You can go into the vortex and say, I can have love and I can have that adventure at the same time, because in reference to the adventure, they're actually, it's more on a business kind of sense, if that makes sense. And you could be like, no, but if I go do that, that's very solo. And, you know, people generally are jealous and they're insecure. I'm telling you, they're going to have to work on that, because this month we do have Chiron going retrograde, the last day of the bloody month. What's that mean? Neptune, Saturn, and Chiron, right? It's a showdown we have between now and next year to get our shit together, to become independent. Why are we having a Leo moon? To purge the old ego of who we pretend to be and stop hiding. Okay? Why are we having Mercury retrograde? Our thoughts, actions, and words need to align. So the fake us no longer can exist. We need to come into that full circle love of knowing that we can be independent as well as being in connections. But we also need to be independent. So, because it's the first house. So for a lot of us, this polarity we're feeling that we can't have that and be independent is totally wrong, because that's not what's coming in the world. Okay? So move into that, because look, even your third eye is going through an upgrade. So it can be a very confusing time for you. They're saying get that into alignment and you'll have all of it. I hope that helps. That was a very long-ass way of going around it, Dawn. I don't know which one of your guides chimed in for that shit, but shit. Who is the person you know in your life that beat around the bush? You can be independent. You can be independent, but remember, you know, your shadow sign, even if you were to look at your birth chart, for instance, your Venus area and your Jupiter area, which relates to marriage, it's a specific signature. Your zodiac sign still, as per se, will always pick up the Gemini attributes of Venus, which is Sag. So we had Juno shift through Sag, and it is very traditional, but it's adventurous and playful, and that's what Gemini likes. Gemini likes someone who's daring and bold. If anything, you guys, that's your language of love. You can be very spontaneous and you can, jump in the deep end sort of thing. But that's actually more what you would like to see in the world. Does that make sense? It's like, so even though it's your language of love, you might need to look at the opposite of that. And I can guarantee you, say if you were dealing with Sagittarius, their language of love is conversation and intellect. You can mind fuck them, I'm telling you. Talk to them. They just want to talk, in the Venus. Get the language of love. Okay. My daughter's calling me. She can wait. Okay, here we have Antonella. And then we have the last individual for a 3-card pull. Okay, I hope that helped, Dawn. I'm puffed out from it, I can tell you. So anyway, who was the guy that you had that's passed over that used to beat around the bush when they used to talk about things? Is it a family member or? Oh, look. When I did, like I mentioned on the video that I did in the members, go back and have a listen to that because I did, do you remember? I talked about that, what it was like in the shadow work. And I did really invest in, sitting there and going, no, I don't want a relationship. Anytime I look outside myself for 1 year, I am literally going to have to face myself. Because the hurt will never come from one person. It'll come all the way down from your childhood and then it'll purge back into the, any connections and relationships. It's, relationships are so many different levels. We think intimate, but it's not. It's your friendship groups. It's, your teachers at school. It could be, it could be a priest. They're interconnections. They're relationships. They're where we build trust. They're where we build our self-esteem and confidence. Our personal experiences evolve that as well. So it's so many different layers. What bad word? Yeah, so those things are, elements. Now, let's see. Oh, okay. So we have Antonella, and already you have the 2 of Cups there. You're very, very focused on love at the moment. You are fixated on a particular person, and it's kind of, yeah. There could be something coming through. You're most welcome, Dawn. There could be something coming through that can surprise you very quickly, and there can be some transition with this individual who you're tuning into. And, you might have just been going with flow, saying you're detached, but something's pulling you in to be more detached. I'm also seeing a party or a social event. So you got the romance card. This situation is on your mind. You're trying to have blind faith with the prospection, with the, with the thought of this, right? And in the past, you were thinking about, I thought we came to an even keel. I hope that we, were, going to get back on track. This could be a time in which people from the past come back, especially, like I said, if you had any shadow work to do with them, are good enough, get yourself grounded. Is because there is something in you that's changing. You could be having a change of heart, change of thought. All of that is changing. Now, I do feel you're going to have some news about a relationship. But I think it could be that you also are observing a lot of people around you at the moment getting into relationships. It also could be that you are tuning into a particular individual and you're wondering where it's at. I do think you're going to get some gossip and information around this person. And I don't know why, again, I'm getting a birthday. Whose birthday is it? Is it theirs? Is it yours? Is it a social event? But the energy also in the heart chakra is extreme. It's extreme feelings coming up, but there could be something that's going to quite surprise you because I'm getting this kind of surprise energy. You do have some fresh starts coming. not only in the area of, hearing what is going on with this person, but also maybe with career, I see as a big step. Universe is saying don't feel you're being left behind. But they are saying, how do I explain it? You haven't completely summed up what you want to do. In some ways, it's like you feel you need to do something. In other ways, it's like you're trying to auto-correct yourself and sit and do nothing. I have been working on money energetically. Yeah, well, they are showing that that is going to move, but they're also saying you will need to be careful of the vibration. It's like, whatever comes in goes out. They're saying you do have the capacity to save as it's coming in. But they're saying you also, from the Venus energy of things, where emotions are vibrationally out of alignment, it's like we want to fill that void. Leave the void empty. Honestly, it's probably a better way of dealing with that and going into reasons why it feels empty. Because I think if you get to the root cause, all that is actually energetically going to shift. But it's like once something's empty, it's like I'll give you an example. Money comes in, vibration shifts. Suddenly you're buying a bunch of things and you're like, why did I do that? I had a budget. That vibration, if you journal, you'll actually notice patterns and emotional changes. And if you go back to what you actually write on that day, you'll find where the trigger is. And so if you can actually work on that trigger point, I feel the rest is going to take care of itself. Because for some of you, I can't say for some of you, in some areas of your life, it does feel some finances are going to come in. There could be a lucky win. It could be receiving a job. It also could be somebody actually giving you a gift as per se. Now, as to the romance, I do feel that there is some gossip coming in about where this person's connection is at. And I do feel they're dating and referencing it around a birthday or a celebration event. I hope that helps. My sister's calling me, my daughter's calling me. What's happened now? Okay, last but not least, I will pull 3 cards for the last individual. But yes, in future, it is 20 AUD. I will try to remember to place now we also, the reason why it is 20 AUD is we do get taxed. Okay, I need just to know we do pay tax. So it ends up being nothing. You know what I mean? If I've got 5, I'll come on and do freebies, but I'm working 2 jobs. So this is a way of not, I'm doing it on my weekend. So for me to bring that to you, if you can't completely afford a full booking, it's my kind of gift back to you with my time on my weekend, which is my time on my weekend, to try and give you guys a hand. Otherwise, if you feel it's really relevant, you can jump online and actually book a reading. Okay, so now we'll see what your question was. What was this lovely? This is yours. I'll do 3 for you. What is coming in for me for the rest of the month? Okay, what am I feeling? Okay, number 1, I feel as though you are quite focused. It's almost they're saying you do need to learn to trust yourself because you have great intuition. But they're also saying is that you are quite independent. There could be there is an area you want to tap into, and it does have something to do with wealth. They are referencing the term Pisces, which is more than likely the location in which Pisces is linked to you is going to give you some cues about what you need to pay attention to. And they're actually referencing it's from here into after October. It's really going to pump up for you. They're saying intuitively being independent, getting support if you need it, but I feel you've got this. I do feel the biggest question that you're going to have in the heart of it is, what am I fighting for? So it's like, sometimes we can have some wins, but it can almost be where we are feeling as though we're dealing with the circumstance and how would I explain it? It's like, what are we fighting for? It could be that we have a victory, but it's at the expense of something. But I do feel that you're going to be able to cut through a circumstance, but there's a lot of areas in your life. So I do feel there could be many areas in your life, being that it's a 5, and it's so interesting. I've just looked up and I've seen 5 people viewing. I think 5's a radical changes. So whatever this is, it's huge. They're saying use this month to get your clarity, because it's going to set you up. If you can just receive the PDF through this month, make the steps gradually, unless, of course, there's the tower moment. If there's a tower moment, they're saying honor it. Because the tower moment sometimes can be something you pull down because you want change, or you make a decision, right, and accept it. Don't get scared if you have to make decisions, even during retrogrades. Or if it happens to you. If it happens to you, universe is already saying you were ready. Trust the process 9 times out of 10. And I'll give you an example. It could be losing a job. You lose a job. If it comes out like that, it's because your soul and its path was meant to be doing something else. And so it generally does align a lot quicker and safer for you. Don't freak out. Okay, there can be some dramas coming up in family. And as to if you are traveling, I would just check everything. But they're referencing more the connection of family. And they're saying you might be going against the grain of what other people think. Now, this might not be coming through right away for you. This is something of a meditation, I feel. You're going to be thinking about a lot of things. But, when we do have the 9 of coins, the card's actually in reverse. You could be it's almost like you don't want to miss opportunities, but you could be stuck in a situation. And this is one of the hardest things. It could either be love, career, money, or doing something, right? What they're referencing is whatever this is, it can't be to the point where it feels like a prison. It's like, example, I have to stay here because of the money. That's just an example. If your soul feels each day you're going to do that thing, it's making you feel sick, or they're like, okay, good excuse. It's kind of like they're chiming in saying, yeah, that's not going to work permanently. So they're saying your soul and your intuition is going to know, but your life has to match your vibration will show you what doesn't match who you are anymore. Okay. But really protect your crown chakra, because I do feel there can be some guides on the other side who are coming through. It can come through in your dreams. I had these weird dreams in the last week. Neptune again, retrograde. Don't be surprised if you pick up on this. If you do need support with this, I can give you a hand. And feel free to type in the video if you do need additional support. Otherwise, we will love yous all and leave yous. And if you do want to come and join us for our next super chats, they are directly linked on the main page or any of our blogs on YouTube. So I'll try and update the settings on each of the super chats. I'm going to schedule some more. And what I'll do is put all the information directly in the box, which I used to do. I've just been multitasking with 2 jobs. And then that way, those of you that jump on, you will directly know that our super chats are, in the mix. Okay.